Ladies and gentlemen, Job 38:12 says, "You commanded the morning since your days, and caused the dayspring to know its place, that it may take hold of the ends of the earth, that the wicked might be shaken out of it. It is turned as clay to the seal, and they stand as a garment. And from the wicked their light is withhold, and the high arm shall be broken." Basically, it's enlightenment or knowledge that lightens up the darkness, which is ignorance, that is being spoken of here. And when you have a loving eye, when you see through the eyes of love, you actually have more understanding than someone who is ignorant of that and is really just doing things for personal gain or hatred or jealousy. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. As we all know, hatred makes people stupid. Love makes people wise. Let's get into it. So I haven't really caught up on the weekend's boxing events, all of them in their totality. We talked about Roman Gonzalez getting knocked out by the Thai fighter, but I didn't talk about all the other events that happened at the StubHub Center in Carson, California, which was covered by HBO. So let's talk about those other fights. We had Juan Francisco Estrada versus Carlos Cuadras. Didn't see the fight, but the results were that Juan Francisco Estrada actually beat Carlos Cuadras, already knocked him down in the final round. I'm yet to see, actually didn't. According to BoxRec here, it says he knocked him down in the 10th round. Okay, whatever. I'm yet to see that fight anyway, so I can't really tell you much about it. Now, Inu, he finally came to the United States of America. He fought a stick and move fighter, Antonio Neves, and basically he was able to cause him to stop. He knocked him down round 5, and the corner stopped the bout. They retired him in round 6, between round 5 and round 6. And Brian Valoria, he actually came back and he knocked out a guy called Miguel Cartagena. So those are the known names on that card, which were interesting. We had 4 super flyweight bouts, two title bouts. Now Inu's defense of his WBO title, and the Thai fighter's defense of his WBC title. So that was really cool to see there. So that was actually an interesting card that was televised by HBO. Kudos to them on that one. In another part of the United States, I didn't talk about this. This doesn't make much news. It didn't make much news, but still, it was just something worth the while to talk about. Brian Vera, he lost. He was knocked out by a guy called Mike Gavronsky. So Mike Gavronsky knocked out Brian Vera. So yeah, Brian Vera isn't all that anymore. I guess he's trying to return back to boxing and do something, and he got stopped. Then we have another event here, which was in Las Vegas, Nevada, Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. We talked about David Benavidez versus Ronald Gavril, but we didn't talk about the rest of the card. Caleb Plant, he got a unanimous decision over Andrew Hernandez. Really, they were hoping that he would stop that guy, but he didn't stop him. And Jay Leon Love, he got a technical draw, or technical decision. Technical draw after accidental headbutt happened as he was fighting Abraham Hahn. I don't know if it took 8 rounds to do that or not. I didn't see the fight. Peter Quillen returned to the ring, fighting at what looked like light heavyweight. And he faced Dashawn Johnson, and he was able to defeat him, outboxing him and outpointing him to a decision. Okay, now in other parts of the world, in Germany, we had a bout for the WBO Cruiserweight title. Alexander Usyk, as you know, is the WBO Cruiserweight champion, and he was able to face off against Marco Huck. Marco Huck was doing pretty good in the fight, don't get it wrong, but he was able to stop Marco Huck in the 10th round of that fight. So I just wanted to catch you guys up on the notable names. There are a lot of other fighters out there, and there were a lot of other fights. You know, there's a ton of fights in boxing happening worldwide all the time. You just have to go and check that out. But I just wanted to get you up to speed with these different fights. I don't know if anybody had actually talked about these fights a lot, so I decided to talk about them. Now there were some other fights also in August. There were some fights before this, which I would like to cover as well. So one of those fights involves Hector Lopez Jr. That's the son of Hector Lopez. I don't know if some of you know Hector Lopez. Anyway, he was able to get a 6-round unanimous decision over a guy called Luis Gerardo Avila. I was in Phoenix, Arizona. And we have, excuse me, that was, I think, the 2nd of September. Then we had another fight here. Where is it? Eric Molina, heavyweight challenger, who fought Deontay Wilder. He actually won a 6-rounder against a guy called Jamal Woods. I think you guys know Jamal Woods. He's a pretty tall guy. Did he stop him? No, he got a majority decision over him. It's interesting. And then, of course, we know about the Mayweather-McGregor card, but I didn't really talk about everybody. Javante Davis, he stopped Francisco Fonseca. It was a little bit controversial because he hit him after he was down. And Nathan Cleverly, he lost to Badou Jack. Okay, so Badou Jack actually beat him. Kevin Newman II, he actually lost. He had his first loss against Mark Anthony Hernandez in the 6-rounder that he had. So that's interesting. Andrew Tabiti, who's also of TMT, he was able to beat Steve Cunningham for the NABF Cruiserweight title. So that's interesting as well. So he had all those fights that I forgot to cover for you guys. And I thought, oh, let me just deal with that. Of course, we talked about Miguel Cotto versus Yoshihiro Kamagai that same day, but they were at the StubHub Center. And let's see, there's 1 or 2 other fights that I did not cover. Caleb Truax, he actually came back into runnings, and he fought a guy called Andre Leatherwood. He was able to stop him in the 10th round. So there you go. Those were mostly all the fights that I wanted to talk about today. On that note, I hope you guys have a great